Alright guys, JoJoLands Chapter 33 released a little bit ago. We're gonna cover it right now. So basically we start off and we see Howler's, I guess the three people he kind of hired, his investigator, stand user people, Key West.
Shebang and Lulu. They're all there and they're in the hospital. They don't even know how they ended up there. They just appeared there. And so they're like, "Who are you, Lulu?" But it cuts over and apparently, guys, we were just in Act 1. So now we're starting Act 2 and we see Jodio as like driving. So, Giorno actually mogs Jodio because Giorno is like driving around at that age and possibly even younger. Meanwhile, Jodio can't even back up without hitting someone. But Usagi's in the background talking about like French fries, and Dragona's there. And Jodio's basically like, "Shut up, guys. You guys are so loud." But they're backing up and boom, they hit someone. And a bunch of, non-stand normies come out talking about, "Hey, we're gonna rough up your car." Then Usagi comes in and says, "Hey, look, I've used my stand, but you guys don't know that, to doctor up some footage of you guys actually hitting us. So you don't beat up our house, basically." Because we forgot to mention that they're like, "Hey, let's go beat up your house since it's right there."
Okay guys, once again, Usagi low key in a part with a pretty weak stand. He has a pretty useful stand. Uses to get out of a sticky situation. And I would just like a quick side note. I don't know what Araki was on when he was drawing this, but the guys that get out of the car, when they're at Jodio's window, their heads are almost the same size as the
I thought
window.
that
They're
too.
like three times the size as Jodio and Dragona and Usagi's heads. So I don't know what that
Yeah,
was
and
about.
the guy looks like Donovan too, and he's just looking at him, and he's like, "This is like a dinosaur." Like, I don't know what Donovan's doing, bro. It's crazy, but
Uh,
whatever.
But anyway, Usagi gets them out of that pickle. He makes them think that they were the ones that hit the car, and he's like, I could call the police, but I'm feeling good today, so I'm not gonna do that."
We cut to a scene where we see this woman on a computer and it looks like she opens up a PDF, which, guys, don't click. If you get an email, don't click on it. She clicks on this email and basically this like virus comes up and she calls them up and they're like basically taking her account information. Everything's bad. And later on we learn that this is Usagi's mother. And we learn that Usagi has a sister who's kind of sickly. And so essentially she's going through this issue cleaning it up, not really cleaning up, and it kind of goes south. It's not good.
Yeah, it's classic. His mother doesn't even look that old, but I guess it's just like classic Gen X boomer type stuff. Click on a random link, gets a fake virus. She calls the people, and she basically gives them full access to her computer and bank account. They pull the classic scam. We're gonna send you $20, then you send us the money back, and she just falls for this cyber crime stuff like very easily. I'm a little surprised. This is kind of in the modern age. Her daughter's 13 and she's just kind of sitting there just letting it happen. Like, I figured she'd be a little more tech savvy. But yeah, she just falls for this entire thing and she fully believes these people.
And then we see Usagi getting off that sky rail that they have in Hawaii, their version of a subway, and he goes up to like an empty apartment. And I was very curious about that, but it's just empty and dark. He couldn't have turned on a light or something, but we'll find out why soon enough. But he just basically goes and sleeps on a couch. I'm like, does he not have a bed? But then, we see the gang, and the gang is in basically Meryl May's shot up office. Now, by the way, guys, 9 months passed and they didn't even decide to fix this. And they're talking about people now coming to fix it. So I don't know what they're doing, but they basically showed up there. Paco's there, Jodio's there, Dragona's there, Meryl May's there, and they're just talking about like school or whatever. And all of a sudden, Usagi shows up. And also they mentioned that like Charming Man went back to his island. But Usagi shows up there and I'm like, dude, that is like main villain energy right there when he pops up.
He just kind of shows up out of the blue, surprises Paco, and he's there for one reason. He seems very angry, upset. He just asked Meryl May when they're all getting their shares of the money. 'Cause, if you remember, Howler signed the documents. They basically own the $50 billion worth of land, and Usagi's like, "Hey, when are we all getting our shares?" And Merome basically explains that while her company technically owns the island, right now it's under the control of the government and the army. They're still looking for proof of intercontinental ballistic missiles being made there, and it could take months or years before they're able to get any of the actual value of the land. And this is where we learn, they kind of press Usagi about why he wants the shares, and we learn that that lady who got scammed was his mother, and that the people basically took $300,000 out of their, I guess, shared account. So he's broke. He's got $0.
Zero. This guy is like toast. He's basically like, I think they turn off the bills or whatever, or like the lighting. But he's just dead broke, and we see that Jodio is talking to essentially Dragona, and Dragona's talking to Meryl May, and Uzagi kind of gets like worried about it. But they're kind of talking about like they want to help him, but it's gonna take a while.
And Usagi explains that not only did these people take all of their money, but that his mom and sister are just gone. Like they left, they haven't been back home for 2 days.
And so then Usagi really starts like crashing out, and he's getting like very worked up. And Meryl May just like looks at Paco, and Paco just starts choking him out. And it was so crazy that like I'm like, whoa, Usagi's not really part of the team. The fact that he choked him out. And, Paco's like, dude, this guy's dead weight. And we know that, like, he's kind of a drug addict that was, like, only addressed once. I wonder how that will play in the future. But even Dragona's like, dude, I want to help out too, but what can we do?
Yeah, they basically talk back and forth for a bit. They all want to, try to find the people who took his money and get the money back, even like rough him up a bit. And they asked Jodio, who hasn't said anything, what he thinks about the whole situation. He's basically like, well, if Dragona's, gonna do it, then I'll tag along. But then he's like, we can't just take the money back and beat them up. We gotta take everything they have. We have to come up in this situation. And then he calls a mysterious person who the other people in the group don't know at first, but then we learn he's talking to a certain manga artist that he fought in the beginning of the series.
From Morio. It was Rohan Kishibe. Dude, I was like, wow, I knew it was coming back, but like, since when? And he's like, Jodio's talking about how he's his ally. So I wonder if we'll see Rohan in the next chapter. And dude, Rohan's definitely Araki's favorite character. It's crazy.
Right? I mean, he shows up. He's the only character to show up in this Part 7 universe that's just completely himself. And then at first you thought he was just a little cameo for like a couple chapters, but now apparently he's an ally that Jodio is calling and is probably going to be more involved in the later chapters. So I'm actually pretty excited to see how that all play out.
And also, Howler just disappeared. I don't know if we mentioned that, but he's just gone. He's just out of the picture. So whatever his stand did, he just disappeared. So who knows where he really is?
But
I'm sure
yeah,
we'll see more.
guys, that was chapter 33 of JoJoLands. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, comment what you think of the start of Act 2, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace.